Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Hump Day Hotline. It is myself, Joe Miller, host, co-host with my other guy over there, Jay Spence the King. We're back, Hump Day.
Hump Day, let's go. I was trying to push energy out there. I don't know if you can hear it. Like, let's go.
I can feel it. I can feel it. But you are tuned into, once again, we are back. We are back here on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Treat yourself to the most flavorful pizza on game day. Picasso's, we are Buffalo Pizza, shipping local and nationwide. Order online at picassospizza.net. I don't know.
I can't wait to get back and get some Picasso's, honestly. Not just because we're doing that read. Like, I can't wait to get back.
I don't know the last time I've had Picasso's Pizza. Like, it's been a long time. Like, Picasso's is the one, and now I might get in trouble for this. They're the ones with the dinosaur, right? Picasso's, is that right? Didn't they have the dinosaur for a long time as their logo? No. Maybe?
Oh, I don't know. I just always normally it's like I eat it with like a party. It's like the party pizza.
Right.
They're the party pizza of Buffalo. So I don't even know what they're.
I haven't had it in a very, very, very long time, and much like what you just said, I'm at the point now where it's like, I need to go get myself some Picasso's Pizza. But Jay Spence, it's Hump Day. So everybody hump on that like for us. I always say jump on the like, but yeah, it's hump the like. It's got to hump the like. People are already commenting on your shirt. They love it. But Jay Spence and I were both on a break, and with that, all of you were on a break as well. So it's good to see T in the room and Amanda McCulloch. I don't know that
we got the same idea. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go for it. You can run it. Chris Jenke's in the room. Richard Rush is in the room. Steph is in the room. Xavier's in the room. I think did I get it? Oh, then Shane Sweatland is also in the room. It's good to have you guys. Once again, we are back, like I said. And from here on out, dude, it's all go. No quit, right?
It's go time.
It's go time until we win the Super Bowl. That's the expectation. And Jason Humbert. The expectation is to win the Super Bowl at this point. Yes?
Yes. Hell yes.
Yes. So how was your break?
It was long, but it was short. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes total sense.
I said that earlier at work, and they were like, "Wait, how is it long but short?" I was like, "I don't know." But so it makes sense to you, just not them. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it absolutely 1,000, because I had the same break, so it totally makes sense. And last night, dude, you had the man, the myth, the legend, 83. Hall of Famer, former wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. I don't believe anybody will ever wear 83. Has anybody? Well, Lee Evans wore 83, but nobody's worn 83 since. I don't think anybody will ever wear it again. Real quick, if you can, how was that interview and what was that like, talking to one of the greats?
It was cool. He's completely different than I guess what I thought he would be. And, like the more and more I'd speak to people, like speak to players or former players and coaches and all that stuff, it's like it starts to get normal in a way. But, you talk to a Hall of Famer, you talk to a guy that, really you watched on TV as a kid, and it's still different. So being able to talk to him was cool. It was one of the best experiences I've had doing interviews and stuff in this space. It's cool.
Yeah, really that's sweet. Cool. I want to ask you off-air questions, like how'd you get Andre?
Well, I didn't even do anything. They reached out to me.
Come on,
honest to God, it was it was actually for Panini America. He had an NFT card that was being released over the weekend, and basically what they were looking for, they set him up with interviews with I guess a bunch of different people, and it reached out to SB Nation. And
oh wow, very cool.
And I just so happened to be the guy that was selected for SB Nation, and it was pretty cool.
That is awesome. And yeah, that's a great get. So regardless of how you got, that's a great get. But let's do this. So let's have some conversation about football.
Real quick, before we do.
Yeah.
I have to know, because even, we took the break from the shows. I also I took like a sort of break, like not a full break, but a sort of break from Twitter and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing this. I need to know what this is about. Why do I need to keep you away from public restrooms? Like this is this is a question that needs answered. Shout out to Jessica. What's up, Jessica?
Are we really gonna go? You want me to go there?
I just need to know, because I've been hearing about it, and I'm like, what the heck is everybody talking about?
Sunday night, I did my show, and that was after going to camp. on Saturday. And so Joe Sangl wrote a book called I Was Broke, But Now I'm Not. And that book is basically Dave Ramsey light, how to get out of debt, how to live on a budget, and how to transform your life financially, but not with like the whole Dave Ramsey program, which is phenomenal, but it's big. Like there's a lot to do. Like, so Joe Sangl's program is smaller. And like, he has this saying in there that you have to get to the point where you've reached an I have had enough moment, right? So I've had enough. So Saturday I had enough at camp. I went into one of the stalls because I had to go to the bathroom. All the urinals were full. I had to go to the bath. I had to go pee. I didn't have to do anything nothing gross.
Okay.
And there was urine all over the toilet seat. Urine all over the toilet seat. And I was everywhere. Like, that's it. Everywhere. I was like, that's it. I've had enough. And literally we hear on Twitter, and you see it all the time too, like the guy that won't return the cart back to the buggy station, like how he's the worst human in the world. And I just put a poll out there on Saturday. I think, like, which one of these guys is the worst human in the world? Is it the guy that won't return the buggy, or is it the guy that pisses all over the toilet seat? And I basically wrapped it in this, and this is where we can move on. It doesn't matter where you go as a man. It can be school. It can be a stadium. It can be the mall. It can be church. You pick a place, somebody has gone in the stall and pissed on the toilet seat. And I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't get, why can't you take your foot and lift the seat?
And you know what? What's worse is when you do have to take a crap, like and it's like when it hits you, because 9 times out of 10 you're not going to go to the public restroom to use it for a number 2 unless you really got to go.
It's a problem.
So like you're rushing to the bathroom, and then it's like, holy, now I got to sit here and clean somebody else's. Come on, I'm gonna go there. I don't think the cart thing is it. I think it's the piss on the toilet seat, guys.
It's the piss on the toilet seat, and literally, and I got to expound on it that, like, women hover. We always hear the stories about women hovering, and men don't hover. Like, it's not possible. Like, men don't have that.
We have bad aim. You know what I mean? Like, the first thing that what, and this is when I realized I got older. I'm not old yet. I'm in my prime. But when I started to get older is when I woke up, and like it goes in like 40 directions, like in the morning. So maybe that's why it's on the seat. Some people don't have control.
But you gotta lift the seat. You gotta lift the seat. It's not that hard. The first thing I do when I enter a stall to go number 1 is my eyes are immediately focused on the position of the toilet seat. Is it up or down? If it's up, good to go. Let's rock. If it's down, I use my foot and I kick it up in the air. Like, that's all we're asking civilized human beings that are male, or at least identify as males, to do. We're asking them to lift the toilet seat. That's all we're asking, right?
Yep. Got to lift it. Well, I lift it with my foot, and I flush with my foot. I don't trust them. They can't pee straight. They don't even wash their hands. You know that. Thomas
DeLau says, after, of course, it's even worse. It goes everywhere.
Everywhere, Thomas. It is everywhere.
It is Hump Day, so this is relevant.
Hump Day. This is very relevant to this show. And you're right. Absolutely, Thomas. It goes everywhere.
Oh, it's too funny. So I had the pleasure of meeting Thomas at camp on Tuesday. So I went to camp on Tuesday with John Spascheck, the market dominator. And Thomas was like, "Hey, you're coming out to camp today?" And I was like, "We are." I'm actually in one of the tents right now. And he's like, "Well, I'm up in the stand." So I got to hang out with Thomas, and that was a lot of fun. So I've been on the show a couple times. And I think you're expected to go on his show soon too, Buffalo Late Night. Good dude, super good dude.
Yeah, I reached out to him. We had a scheduling thing. He reached out to me initially when everything happened with the shooting at Tops, and it just the timing was off. But we reached out, we reconnected. We're gonna set something up really soon so we can do something. His show, the content that those guys produce is amazing. Good work.
Yeah,
really good work.
Good. So let's do this. Let's talk football. Shall we talk football? And by the way, everybody, that was not scripted or rehearsed. He literally brought that up on his own.
Yeah. That was Jessica's fault. Jessica said it in the comments, so I needed to know why we need to keep Joe away from public bathrooms. It was like, wait, what are we doing here? But go ahead. Okay, football. So let's talk about this real quick. This is where we're going to start the show. So the Miami Dolphins. Clearly, it's come down. Everybody's known, and the NFL is interesting because there's a lot of places to go with this conversation because it kind of folds into the Deshaun Watson situation as well as it pertains to rumors today that the NFL was trying to cover up and push the news cycle down to get everybody to stop talking about Deshaun Watson and get them onto the Miami Dolphins. That's why they, strategically dropped this news
thing after, like the day after Deshaun, although we've now found out as well that the NFL has appealed and they're seeking an indefinite suspension for Deshaun Watson. We're not going to necessarily talk about that unless we go there. Miami, though, however, a punishment was handed down to the Miami Dolphins that I don't know that I saw coming. I don't know that anybody necessarily was expecting it to come, but they got stripped of a first-round draft pick for next year, a third-round draft pick in 2024, if my memory serves me correctly. Stephen Ross has also been fined $1 million and suspended for the first 8 games. He cannot be at any of the football games, and it's all based on the fact that he primarily was colluding with Tom Brady, as well as Sean Payton. And as the story goes, and I'm just going to get the information out there. Mm-hmm. There was a plan. Tom Brady was going to retire from football, which he did. And the plan was that Tom Brady was going to come back after the Dolphins, and Sean Payton quit from the Saints, which he did. And that Sean Payton was going to get hired by the Dolphins, and that Tom Brady was then going to get signed by the Dolphins. He was going to be given 10% ownership share of the Dolphins. And in 2022, this season, the Dolphins would have been coached by Sean Payton and quarterbacked by Tom Brady. Unfortunately for them, Brian Flores monkey wrenched the whole entire thing and blew the whole thing up. So going back to those reports that came out and the statement from and the lawsuit that was filed by Brian Flores, which clearly we now know there was merit to, a lot of merit to all of his accusations or all of his, whatever you want to call those things, where he just all the things that he had said, all of his statements. But what it comes down to is this is insane, is it not? Like, to think that they were meeting in secret with Tom Brady and his agent was setting this stuff up. I mean, this seems a little, I can't believe this is where we are.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. First, do you know how pissed off I would have been if Tom Brady would have come back to the AFC East and gone down to Miami? Are you kidding me?
There's a rumor that that's not out of the works yet. There's a rumor that that still may happen in 2023.
He's not playing until he's 50, Joe. I'm not accepting it.
I'm just telling you, he has a 1-year contract right now. He has a clause in the contract that he cannot be franchised, which means he has the 100% ability to walk away from the Bucs this year. Oh, by the way, who are no longer coached by Bruce Arians. They're coached by Todd Bowles. Gronk is gone, but there is absolutely a rumor out there that he is going to end up in Miami next year.
I don't like it, and I don't want to talk about it. How about that?
I don't want to. Okay, let's not talk about the future. Let's talk about.
No, we can't. I'm just being petty. Like I don't like it, because the thing is, so like that's the first layer of it for me. Like my first reaction was like, holy smokes, This was real. Like if Tom Brady would have come back to the AFC East, it would not have been. I can't say I would have been scared, because I mean now I still feel more confident in the team that we have, but still, just no. Secondly, you're right. The Brian Flores situation. That's deep, man.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
That's deep.
Yeah,
because a lot of people, when that first came out, there was, you know what? Before we do, we got a super chat. Let's throw this out here. So Steph, shout out to my homegirl Steph, man. I can't wait. I am gonna meet her in person. She's gonna be at the not the home opener, the season opener in LA.
Oh, nice. In LA, very good. Awesome.
It's going down. But very Steph says, I feel like I'm hanging out with my football besties again, and the new season of our favorite show is back on. Go Bills. Yeah. And you know what? I feel like that's the perfect way to describe it, because like this summer, I don't know, like I wasn't into it. And you know, like last year and the year before, we both went straight through. Like we kept doing shows. We didn't take a break, really, maybe a week here or there, but for the most part. And man, I just couldn't. It just wasn't there for me. And so now, like she's right. Like now it feels like the show is back, and like we're all back together to talk about it. We're all like we're binge watching last season, so that way we can kind of be right in the middle. Like it's just perfect, man. I can't wait.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. Now back to Flores. This thing again.
Yep.
So Flores, like, so when that happened, man, it was like you had people, obviously they didn't want to believe him about a few things. The first thing was, the stuff about tanking. We see that there was a little bit of, so good. You see that there was a little bit, not complete truth to it, not to the point where they sat down directly and said, no, we're tanking. No, we're throwing these games. Right. But he was led to believe, like, hey, we need draft position to be better. And for that to happen, I'm willing to give you $100,000 every week.
Yep.
And that's not saying, hey, go lose games and I'm going to pay you. He just said it differently. And And then you get to, I mean, just everything. I feel like there needs to be way more fines, way more punishment. I'm happy about the first round and the third round, I believe. First and the third.
First and a third, 2 years, 2 consecutive years. Yep.
I think it needs to be a little bit more, but 2.5 million total or 2 million total for the front office, so the owner, and then I believe I saw the vice president or the chairman or something like that.
The heir apparent, the guy that has the right of first refusal when Stephen Ross decides to step away. There's so much. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
Well, no, it's just both of the 500,000 for one, and then 2 million or 1.5 mil for the other. It's pennies. It's pennies to them. To me, yeah. To me, that's okay. You find me a 1.5 or 2 million, and I'm not doing okay for years. But them, he probably just sent a Zelle transfer. I don't even know if business accounts can send him that high, but he probably just sent it over quick like it was nothing. He's got
it in his PayPal account. He's just sitting there.
Just has to be more accountability, man. It's like the NFL. Now, I will say I am happy what they did today, where they went back and they said, you know what? Yeah, Deshaun Watson suspended for 6 games. We're going to appeal that, and we're going to try and get more.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. But what has to happen with situations like this, the ownership has to have accountability as well. Like when these things happen, now, because I tell you what, the judge for the Deshaun Watson case made a very good point. It's not equal. A lot of the punishment that goes out towards players and stuff, even though we feel like it needs to be worse,
right?
It's way more harsh than it ever is for ownership and front office members, and that has to change.
Agreed. And you need to look no further than Josh Gordon, right? Who has basically lost his entire career for substance use of a substance that is now legal in the majority of the states of the country. And
I smoke this stuff all the time. You know what I mean? It's legal. It's legal.
Or Calvin Ridley. If anybody's got a beef here, Calvin Ridley. Bet on games when he wasn't playing, bet on games that he wasn't playing in, and he wasn't playing, period. And he got a year. So I think there was a man good on the NFL at first for holding the integrity of the shield, right? We're not going to allow tampering. We're not going to allow people doing, back channeling, doing things in the dark, yada, yada. So it was great to see that part of it. But then that Watson thing was looming out there. And then this whole notion of, it seems like they're trying to squash that news. And then the news came out today that they are appealing and they're seeking an indefinite suspension, which helps. I don't know what's going, dude. The Browns be wildin', bro. We know that some of our female fans are triggered by this new. It's like, well, if and then the whole, Deshaun Watson showed public remorse. No, he is basically claimed innocence from the. He's written 20-something checks to women voluntarily to get them to shut up while saying, I didn't do anything wrong. That's not showing remorse publicly. And then just the whole idea of this nonviolent assault, I don't even know what that means. And I know it's been talked about a lot. Both, like, I know Kyle Brandt talked about it. They were talking about it on the radio today. And I'm kind of in the same space. There's an aspect. Kyle Brandt said it best. He said there's an aspect of nonviolent assault, especially sexual, that is almost worse than violent, because the person that's in a nonviolent sexual assault situation almost feels trapped, and it starts to lend that idea of maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Like, it starts to play on the brain a little bit, right? Versus when it's violent, no, that's wrong. And you might not come because you're scared or you're fearful for your life. It's just the whole situation is messed up. I don't want to talk about that stuff as much as it's just, it's funny how
we don't have to.
I've lost followers over the Deshaun Watson stuff. Have you?
I don't know. But you know what? I've been very public about calling him a dirtbag, so I probably have. But
it's crazy.
I don't know. And we don't have to, stay here. But I do want to say, so last summer, or maybe it was the summer before, I had Allison Eisenhower was on my show, and she was talking about domestic violence and talking about,
I remember, I watched that. Yep.
The mental effects that it has on not just women, but women and men, but in this case, obviously women. look, at some point, man, and this is not about simping. This is not about trying to gain more female listeners and all that. None of that. The thing is, we need to protect women, man. And at some point, the organizations who hire these people or who represent these people need to take a stance and say, no, we need to protect women. And then from there, let's protect people. Let's protect children. Let's protect, because not every man is like an alpha male who is out there just pounding the table. Some guys are a little bit more passive, and some guys don't know how to, like, men are abused as well. But again, I know we don't want to stay here.
I would agree with you. That actually brings up a good point. Men are abused as well. Yes. And so that blurs, right? And I don't want to be careful. I want to tread lightly. There's a blurring on the other side as well, because I sat with some former Buffalo Bills players, and this was a couple weeks ago. The case came up before any of this, and a couple of them were like, dude, when I was playing, women would throw themselves at me, which I'm sure blurs it as well in his mind, right? All women want me. If it's that easy with some women, then clearly but it's just, the whole thing is messed up. And it just, 66 different women he got massages from, 20 something have filed lawsuits against him. It's as hard to believe as Stephen Ross picking up the phone and calling Tom Brady and being like, yo, bro, I know that you're under contract for the Buccaneers, but what if I gave you 10% ownership in the team and we got Sean Payton? What do you think? Like, both of these scenarios are very like, excuse me? How did we get here? Right?
It's just amazing. Like, all of this stuff that's happening behind closed doors. And then when it comes out, it's like, oh, this is really still happening in the National Football League in the year 2022. The stuff that we've said for years is happening behind closed doors, and now we're seeing it. And just to talk about, or to touch on your point, regardless if women are like throwing themselves at people or not, like, the thing is, consent is important.
Right.
So
I meant consenting.
I know.
Wholly consenting.
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying.
Not throwing themselves out of it first and then changing their mind and saying no. I'm talking about women that are like, oh my gosh, I like.
Right.
He's
so
an
I get what you're saying.
Man. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and I also understand that there's a side of, I guess, Deshaun Watson fans or Browns fans who defend him and say, well, women do lie and women collude and women. Look, at some point we have to stop purposely saying that we don't want to believe victims.
Right.
At some point. Now, if it is always supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, that is correct. The problem that I have with this particular case, they didn't even choose to take him further to criminal court, and that had to do with, I don't know if it was necessarily the lack of, because it's tough to really get evidence in this type of case. Right. Because there's no, there wasn't like a rape. But the thing is, this has the same type of mental, emotional effects.
It does.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to take this stuff way more seriously. And when you go on social media and you see, and like you said, people will stop following you for taking up for women, or people will, in your comments, man, people in your comments I've had people try to tell me, oh, they just want Deshaun out because he's black. Dude, I'm black. And I'm saying he's a dirtbag. At some point, we have to stop looking for excuses, and we have to stand up and actually say, we have to find solutions at some point. Yeah. And the solution is people with power who abuse it the way Deshaun Watson did, the way anybody, the way these people abuse their power, they need to be dealt with and made examples in the justice system.
No, it's absolutely correct. But the Miami thing is, it's just hard to believe that this is where this actually happened. I mean, I'm not naive to the fact that tampering does happen on some levels. That's why the NFL moved to a tampering period, because guys like Langston Walker and Dockery are like in Buffalo at One Bills Drive. Free agency opens at 4:00, and those dudes are standing at the podium at 4:01 doing their press conferences because they just signed $30 million contracts. Derek Dockery, right? So it's like, wait a second, time out. How did something happen? So the NFL moved to a tampering period, which totally 100% completely makes sense. And I do believe, as you do as well, that there probably is some tampering that goes on. Hey, Spence, I don't get the feeling that you're very happy over there, right? And it's probably somebody that's down the totem pole somewhere in the organization. I get the feeling that you're not too happy. What do you think of the Buffalo Bills? But
I think the Buffalo Bills are, and then that's how it happens. And it's that simple.
But the owner pick Terry Pagula picking up the phone and calling, name the best player in football, Jalen Ramsey. We've got a problem at corner while Trey is still injured. Terry Pagula calls Jalen Ramsey. It's like, what?
There's a side of me that doesn't understand the tampering issue, though. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a part. It's football, and we do have cap. We do have this. We do have that. At the end of the day, and I know that there's a window that the negotiations are supposed to happen. But let's be real. Let's be real. Like, I guarantee you, every single week during the season, players after the game, yo, man, next season, come over here with us, man. We gonna do this. Or during the off season, before this stuff is happening, during the Super Bowl, two guys who lost during the playoffs and they're texting each other, man, F this, man. Let's link up to next season and do this together. You want me to come to your town, or you want to go? But because it's the owner, and I get it, but at the same time, I think about me. Like, I'm a fan, but if I ever came into like billions of dollars and I was able to buy an NFL team, I know me. Like, I'm like, no, I love football. I gotta, like, oh, who's the best? Devontae Adams? Let me get his number. Let me text him. I want Devontae Adams on my team. So I don't know. I would probably not be a good owner.
Just as I've told you since the day we started doing this, remember me when you're famous. So that's all I ask. Just remember me. How many times have I said that to you? I've said it to you 100 times. If I've said it once, I've said it 100. Remember me when you're famous. We can absolutely 1,000% move on. So your guy and a Buffalo fan favorite right now, Jordan Poyer left camp on Tuesday. I was there. John Spascheck, the market dominator, actually is the one that saw it first, that he was hurt. And I was like, where? What do you? And he's like, right there. And he's like pointing to me, or he was pointing at the field. And I couldn't place where Jordan was, but then I finally caught he caught my eye. But he left camp on Tuesday holding his left arm, and he was extreme pain is probably not the right answer. He was on the ground on the sideline for probably 5 minutes. Somehow they got his pads off him. I didn't see that part. And then they walked him over to this, like, further to the fence area, sat him down, and then like got him up. And then he moved into the tunnel, and then he never came out of the tunnel. And then there's footage. Now there's video of him actually sitting down in a chair as they were waiting for the cart. Noticeable. And I texted you immediately. I was like, Jordan's hurt. I texted you absolutely immediately. I said, it looks like his shoulder, but it was unclear. You could tell he was ginger with his left arm.
Yep.
But it's been reported since then that it's been did you break that it was a hyperextended elbow?
I did, but I didn't get credit for it. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So
Shefty just stole my thunder. It's all right, Shefty. So I was trying to find a video while you were talking. I found it, but for some reason it's not allowing me to share it. That's
gotcha. So 3 to 5 weeks, and then he should be available for the season opener. First thoughts.
I'd say, obviously it's an injury. So, we want these guys to go into the season healthy. We want to take care of these guys, but I can't obviously say this for sure because the team isn't saying this and Jordan's not saying this and all this. But I'll tell you what, like, this injury it's an injury. I guarantee you if week 1 was tomorrow, Jordan would have on like that Ray Lewis. I promise you he would be playing. Like, this is an injury. Like, don't get me wrong, he's hurt. But what I'm telling you is the way that these guys feel this year and the way that his mind is and the way that he's dedicated to the season, he's dedicated. They really want, and I know everybody says they want a Super Bowl. So every team every year is excited. The Buffalo Bills want a Super Bowl more than, I've never heard anybody from the Buffalo Bills organization talk this passionately about winning a Super Bowl this season. So when I tell you, like, his arm is hurt, 3 to 5 weeks. If the season opener was tomorrow, I promise you Jordan Poyer would be on that field with one of those long arm braces or whatever. He would be there.
What's interesting about this point from Jim Tombolesi, I think that's how you would Tombolesi, how you would pronounce that, is it gives the young guys a chance to play, but keeps these starters in a bubble until the season, both of which are good things and bad things. And I guess what it comes down to from the bad side is Jordan is seeking, right? Jordan's seeking an extension, which we all want him to have. There's no world where we believe it's going to be a Von Miller type extension, 6 years, $120 million. But we all want to see Jordan stick around for a couple more years, as well as, I think, Micah Hyde. This is a moment in time where it's going to give an opportunity to some of these young guys, right? Jaquan Johnson, DeMar Hamlin, to show, are they ready to kind of step into that role? Not to say that camp isn't going to provide that opportunity anyway.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I was just because he is, man. Adam Scheffner be stealing, man. leave some food for the little guys, Adam. Come on.
Right. For the fan sites. Leave some food for the fan sites like us. Sorry.
Dang,
another
man.
insight.
No, I know. No, I got that one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not saying that DeMar Hamlin and Jaquan Johnson we're not going to have an opportunity to shine this preseason. Clearly, they're going to play a lot in the 3 preseason games. There's going to be one game where the starters should have, or are going to potentially play quite a bit. So they're going to have those moments, but it just gives that many more long looks for Brandon Beane to kind of, right? Are we ready? Are we ready to move on from Jordan? I'm not ready. I don't think you're ready. I don't think this fan base is ready. But yeah, I mean, these guys are going to, and I think it's diligence we need to take. It's due diligence, right? It's diligence we need to do. They need to know what's there in DeMar Hamlin and Jaquan Johnson. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that they know what we have. Obviously, more reps and more snaps means more film. But I think they're really comfortable with the depth this year. I think they're comfortable with everything. I just think that, like I said, this is a strength right now. And Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde having a scare in training camp is not. It's not something you want to hear as a Bills fan. It's not something you want to hear right now if you're the coach or the front office. So, first, you know what you said, it shocks me, but I'm happy about it. I didn't know that at camp Jordan is kind of like a fan favorite right now.
Oh yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. He is right there with Stefan and Josh when he comes out of the tunnel. Matt has been at camp a lot. He would corroborate what I'm saying, that like when Jordan comes out, yes, he gets one of the loudest cheers.
It's great because so for me, one of the things, now this part is public in a way, I guess, like Jordan and I have developed somewhat of a friendship. And one of the things that he and I have talked about, for me saying to him, nothing that he shared with me, but I don't like how a lot of times, a player, it happened the same thing with Beasley was here, like when people share a personal, either political view or their family shares views or things like that, and then the Twitterverse, like the people on Twitter will like just attack that guy, and it just like make it, and if you get caught up in Twitter, and with me not being in Buffalo physically, sometimes I feel like Twitter is a reflection of what Bills Mafia is in Buffalo.
Right.
But I'm glad that the fan base showed up and they showed Jordan all the love that he deserves, because I tell you what, man, he 21 came to Buffalo and he's given Western New York everything that he's had. And since he's gotten here, he's been a top, I don't care, wherever you want to slot him, he's been a top safety in this league since he's been here, and he deserves the love. He deserves the money. He deserves everything. So I'm gonna just tell y'all, if it comes down to me, you already know I'm down to riot.
Yeah, for sure. I want to bring up a different topic real quick. I just want to I want to add this in. Matt Wiedenbach says the energy at camp is just different this year. Being there felt different. I don't know. I've gone to 3, so I've been there Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but the energy is just way up, and you can feel the drive more than years past. I agree with this, and obviously the fan presence is a big part. The fan presence is stupid. Like, I've been going to camp for I don't know how long. I think Marshawn Lynch's rookie year was the first year that I ever went to camp. That's how long I've been going, where literally you just stood against the fence, right? And they were playing on the field right there. And I remember thinking back then, sidebar, how big Marshawn Lynch was. I was like, holy crap, that's a big dude. Anyways, I was talking with Jen about this, about the energy level, specifically on the defense. Now, I know we've got Tim Settle. I know we've got Daquan Jones. I know that we've got Jordan Phillips is back. And I know those three bring in energy that maybe wasn't here last year with Starla Tulele and Harrison Phillips, who we all love. I know the offensive line is, and we're going to talk about the offensive line, isn't or hasn't been great thus far due to some injuries and stuff that's going on. However, I would say this. Have you ever been, are you aware of, do you agree with the philosophy that certain people elevate the level of play or elevate the level of talent, or elevate the level of, they raise the bar. Certain people raise the bar and everything changes around them because of what they bring. Do you subscribe to that?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what you're saying Von is.
That's exactly where I'm at. So like for me, I've been a professional musician for most of my life. Every situation I've been in where I've been around other band members, even new ones, there's a measure of them bringing their game up to me. There's just something about me being, and this sounds braggadocious, and I'm sorry, but there's something about me being present that there's a different expectation. The bar is just at a different level. I think that's happening with Vaughn. I think we haven't had a guy like Vaughn here. Mario, right? And before that, Bruce, I mean, on the end, Bruce Smith. Like, I think there's an aspect of like guys that are on that defense are like, Von Miller's over there. And I think he's just bringing a measure of, oh, we're going to do this. And
I'll tell you, it could absolutely be Von on the defensive side. Earlier, after we signed him, one of the first things that I got excited about was the fact that it was like, oh, our defense has our Josh Allen now.
Right.
Like, he's older, but our defense has our Josh Allen. So, because like in the fourth quarter with, a minute left and Josh with the ball, you expect Josh to score. With Von Miller on the field with a minute left, now you expect the defense to stop the offense, and it just happened. So Von Miller being there with the 2 Super Bowls in his experience, coming from winning a Super Bowl last year and all this stuff, it brings a certain energy. But then, like I said, couple that with the disappointment that the guys who are still here, most of the guys have that bad taste in their mouth from last year, from the Chiefs. You add that disgusting taste in your mouth on top of Von Miller, on top of now Josh Allen is the darling of the league. So on top of like, it just hurts that we lost that way. Now all summer he's probably done 15 interviews a day.
Yeah.
Literally. Like he's done events. He's been everywhere. And every single place he's gone, Josh, so how does it feel now, man, about that 13 seconds, man? And they make fun of it and laugh. I'm telling you, it's eating at these guys. They get tired of hearing about it. They get tired of talking about it. They get tired of the questions. Von don't have that pain, but guess what? He can eat off the pain. He can feed off the pain. And then coming in here with the expectations like Joe was talking about, combine those two things. And this, I'm telling you, man, I have never talked to any Bills player before doing this pod or like since doing the pod and felt that they were motivated to really win this way like I do the way I am right now. I have never felt this type of motivation.
And the good news is, and those that have been at camp can confirm this. Leslie Frazier said either last year in the offseason or recently that as good as Tremaine Edmonds is, the thing that we're missing are the splash plays. In order for Tremaine to get his next contract, in order for Tremaine to become one of the greats, he's got to start making splash plays. The dude is beginning to make splash plays. And I don't know if it's because he's trusting himself, which we've heard a lot about. I don't know if it's because of the front, and he's clean, because we've heard a lot about that as well, right? That he's never clean because like the front four weren't keeping blockers off of him. I don't know if it's just because he's reading and react. I don't know what it is, but from the 3 camp practices I've been to, he is beginning to throw in those splash plays on top of being the guy that you love.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I said this earlier in the offseason, and I'm going to say it again. He's going to be a Pro Bowler this year, and it's not going to be about popularity. He's going to earn a Pro Bowl spot. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, man. It's going to be a real tough decision for Brandon Beane next spring. Shout out to Jessica. She says Von has been fairly mellow. It is Elam who started it. Now, this is interesting because actually, and Sarah said right under her, I actually disagree about Elam because she thinks he's looked like a rookie. I've heard that from quite a few people that
he's done a lot of clutching and grabbing. He's very much duck on a pond right now. Like at the top, you're like, oh, that's a first round draft pick. And then when the action starts,
it's like, oh. But you know what? And that's why it's still my concern. And last night on the Code of Conduct, I kind of had like this. The whole show was basically a monologue, and I talked about how I was concerned with the defensive backs, not Jordan, not Micah. Do I like Elam? I think Elam's going to be a boss in this league. I think Trey, when Trey comes back and he's fully healthy and he's Trey again, I think it's going to be awesome. But we do not have Levi Wallace last year. We do not have a multi-year starter starting opposite of Elam or starting opposite of Jackson. So right now, and then even when Trey comes back, how comfortable or how solid do we feel that it's going to be? Where, all right, yeah, Trey's going to be Trey. He was the Trey he was before he got injured.
Yeah,
that's really. I don't think we have holes on this team, but if we had anything to kind of have concern about, it is the cornerback. It's still the cornerback position for me.
I don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. I don't know when he's going to come back. But the best thing about camp, and for those that are in the comment section or listening to this post as a podcast, if you're in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Erie, if you have the ability to get here and go to camp, it provides you an opportunity to be very close to the players, right? That's the cool thing about camp, because you're really close. Tre'Davious White, I said it to Thomas and I said it to John. He's just at another level, even working off on the side, doing weird jumps and hops and balance things. When you look at him, he's a different specimen than every other cornerback on this roster. It's just he just looks different. From an eye standpoint, when you look at him, you're like, that dude's a badass.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put it any other way than that. It's like, that dude is a badass. All those other guys out there are good. That dude's the man, right?
I'm still just concerned. Like, so those jumps those weird jumps and stuff, those are obvious. So people who have had an ACL tear, you are all familiar with those jumps. That's part of the rehab and that's part of the strengthening process. But and obviously we don't know. The news that came out is that the front office is basically waiting on the doctor's word to just say yes. They feel comfortable with Trey. Trey feels comfortable with Trey. It's just waiting on the doctor. I'm praying and hoping to God that the doctor doesn't feel as comfortable as the team. Do not rush this man back. Please do not rush this man back.
Do not rush him back. But if he does not start practicing in camp soon, I don't know that he's going to be ready for the home opener or for the season opener. Sorry, not the home.
I don't think that he should at all, though. I don't. I want him fully healthy and ready week 1, but the way this is going and the way this, I don't want to see him on the field unless he's really 100% healed from that ACL tear, because it's going to cause other issues.
We have 4 or 5 weeks left of camp, 4 or 5 weeks, 5 weeks left of preseason. Sorry, I misspoke.
36
days. What's that?
36 days.
36 days. The only concern that I have, which if you divide that by 7, it's 5 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. The only concern that I have, and obviously 5 weeks is a long time. They can coach these guys up. Dane Jackson is Dane Jackson. I think we all love Dane Jackson. There's something, and I talked about it on Sunday. I talked about it on the Phoenix show. When you watch Trey coming in pushes the level of everybody else down, right? So Trey comes in, he's the guy. He's the number one dude. Oh, my phone's really loud. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Trey comes in and it basically takes everybody else down. Now, in 11 on 11s, and this is a perfect segue. We can actually move over to the offensive line. In 11 on 11, this team has not been good. Offensively, not good. 7 on 7, they're unstoppable. And by and large, it's been interesting this year to watch the way that they have broken down the reps. So they've got Josh Allen and generally Case Keenum going back and forth, left to right. So left to right, left to right. So if Josh is here, he's always lined up with the 1s. And then Case is here, and he's lined up with the 2s. So on Josh's side, it would be Stephon Diggs. And then behind Stephon Diggs would be, X, right? Mm-hmm. The second guy on the X, which in the last 3 practices has been Isaiah Hodgins. And then over here on Case Keenum's side, it's going to be the number 1 or whatever. Actually, I've got that backwards. X over there. And then it would be the number 2. Gabe Davis was behind him. And then so when they swap Josh, so Josh is always with the 1s. Case is always with the 2s. All that to say this. Watching Stephon Diggs set up these corners, it's not fair. It's just not fair to watch these practices and watch. Stephon Diggs has this incredible ability of allowing, and you played backyard football, so did I. And you're like, my guy's covered. And generally, when you're playing backyard football, if you feel like your guy's covered, he's covered. Whoever's playing,
pretty much. Pretty much.
And Diggs has this way of keeping the defensive back on his hip while he's doing whatever he's doing. And then he'll just flash a shoulder and open up an arm. And then there the ball is. Bang, and he's got the ball and he's caught it. It's a mind game with Stephon Diggs. I'm not saying they all have it, but Stephon Diggs is really, it's concerning for me because Cooper Kupp is the guy, right? I mean, what do you have, 1,400 yards receiving last year? I mean, Cooper Kupp is the first dude we're going to be facing. Now, how does the field balance with this new and improved defensive line? Von Miller, he knows that offense. He probably will be able to stand there and listen to their checks. I'm sure they're going to change your checks, but at the end of the day, like, he knows that offense, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I have a measure of concern just watching Stephon Diggs against Ka'ir Elam, Dane Jackson, the 1 and the 2, right? I mean, he's just,
yeah.
I don't want to say he's making him look silly, but he's making him look silly.
Well, you're saying everything that my little rant that I had 10 minutes ago.
True.
You know, you're just agreeing with me because my argument, so the people who are going to disagree with me, well, no, we should be fine with the number one round pick draft pick for our cornerback and Dane Jackson from last year. We should be fine until Trey comes back. Okay, if that's the case. Last year with those guys, we didn't go up against offenses that really had good quarterback play until we played against Tom Brady. He ate us alive in the first half.
Right.
And then until we got to the playoffs and faced Patrick Mahomes. And guess what happened then?
Yep.
I think we all remember that neither offense could get off the field. Like they were on the field the entire game. So with that being said, I am concerned about that. It just is what it is. This isn't last season. We're starting off against good quarterback play with good wide receivers.
Right.
You mentioned Cooper Kupp. Guess what? I know you're not a huge fan of Allen Robinson, but guess what? If you go and look at the clips that's coming out of LA right now, out of their training camp, Allen Robinson is doing the damn thing right now. He's out there looking like what we're hoping Gabe Davis is going to look like this year. That's what Allen Robinson is looking like right now.
Do you have any what's the word? Do you have any hope in the fact that Dane Jackson is a more physical corner and like will be probably lined up against Allen Robinson?
I don't know. I don't know if because I don't know if the Bills from their cornerbacks, I don't know if they play like a physical game.
You remember?
I don't feel like we're the physical team, which I wish that we were.
We're not super press man, that's for sure. I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times the teams that are physical, that punches in the face, those are the teams we struggle against. And I just wish that our defense was a little. And I don't know if Von's presence and Tim Settle and Daquan Jones and like these guys might change that identity. But
right.
I feel like that's where we struggle. So yeah, I guess you know what I will say. I hope that Dane is a little bit more physical, and I hope the team plays that way. I do.
Gotcha. So all that to talk about the offensive line. So through the first 2 weeks of camp, the offensive line has been patchwork at best. Roger Saffold is injured. Rick Bates is injured. Deion Dawkins was MIA for a little bit, and Spencer Brown has not been involved in team drills. And it's looked like it. So Tuesday, I think the count was 5 sacks between the first team and the second team, and 4 interceptions, of which Josh Allen had 1. Interestingly enough, just throw that in there for those that weren't at camp. The wonderful video that you saw on all of the Bills' social media of Deion Dawkins catching that ball out of the air and running for the touchdown, which we love Deion, right? The snowman is in the house. That was right after a wonderful Tremaine Edmonds interception. So Tremaine had dropped into coverage and was drifting back and just reading Josh's eyes, as it seemed like Josh was hell-bent on getting the ball to Stephon Diggs, forced it a little bit, and then Tremaine just went up and got it. So that interception happened. The very next play, the ball was tipped. Khalil Shakir tipped it, and then it was tipped again by a defender, and then Deion Dawkins, as you saw, plucked it out of the air. All that to say this, I guess. Is there a level of concern? I think there is very much of this offensive line if we don't get our 5 in there, because there was the one pass I saw on Twitter as well. Somebody's like, "Oh, Greg Rousseau." There was the one touchdown pass. I think it was to Diggs. I can't remember. And like literally, like it was shown as a highlight on social media. It was like the Bills were like, "Oh, look at this wonderful pass that Josh Allen threw." Meanwhile, Greg Rousseau was standing there. He was just like, "All right,
Yeah.
Like that ball doesn't get thrown, at least not from this position. Josh might run away, but you ain't throwing it from this spot.
I mean, like I said, for me, the offensive line is absolutely a concern, but I trust Josh more than I trust our cornerbacks, I guess, if that makes sense. So, like, I think the biggest hole right now
Agreed.
is it's still that defensive cornerback position on
Agreed.
offense. Like, we had a bad line last year, and Josh, I think he led the league in like completion percentage or something like that when being pressured or when being blitzed or something. So it's like all the statistics that show you when pressure's coming. I think Josh handles it well, but on defense, I just don't know if I trust Dane Jackson or Kyer Elam yet to say. And I think it was Chris Jenke mentioned that's why we drafted him, because he's physical.
He did say
but
that.
The thing is, everybody else is still saying though, besides Jessica, like you just said, like, hey, Stephon Diggs has been eating him, and I'm kind of nervous. We're going against Cooper Kupp week 1. Like, yeah, we drafted him for that, but sometimes guys do they reach their ceiling in college. Sometimes that happens. I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't either.
I think that Elam is that guy. I think that the Buffalo Bills front office and coaching staff does a great job, especially with defensive players, especially secondary defensive players. So I'm not saying that I don't think Elam will develop properly, but what I'm saying is everything that we're hearing now is Stephon Diggs is having his way with him.
Yeah, and he's not having his way with Kyer Elam. He's having his way with everybody.
Well,
it's Stephon Diggs he's just another level. It's just
unbelievable. I mean, he's that dude.
The cool, I don't know how to, interesting, cool, amazing thing about what's happening in camp right now is we got robbed of camp in 20. We got robbed of camp in 2021. So now we're getting to see Stephon Diggs in camp, in practice against these guys. And the dude makes them look silly.
But here's the thing. I can't. The way he's making them look silly right now, he didn't make them look silly the first summer he got here. He didn't make them look silly like that last year.
In practice?
We don't have Trey right now, man. In practice.
I'm
telling you,
you might be right.
So what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you're saying, okay, it's not just Kyer. You're right, but Dane Jackson never would have been given an assignment to cover Stephon Diggs before, because we had Levi Wallace and Trey White. Fair. So, and so again, I'm just like, it comes down to this hole that we have. And so it's like, yeah, okay, put Dane on Steph. No. Put Dane on Cooper Kupp. No. Put Dane on, like, I mean, who do we play week 2? Like, really, like the first 5 weeks.
Keep in mind, since the Saints game, Dane covered the number 2 guy of every team we played from there on out, and he did a passable job, right?
Levi Wallace.
At the end of the day, what do we know about Levi? Levi didn't want to leave. The Bills didn't offer him a contract, right? Mm-hmm. Levi did not want to go. I think you had him on your show, right? And Levi said, I didn't want to leave Buffalo. I think that's what he said.
Right. He loves the team. He loves the guys. It was a camaraderie.
Right. So it wasn't a situation of he didn't want to be here and he was going out looking for money. The Bills just didn't step up for whatever reason. So interestingly enough,
and I'm not clamoring for Levi back. What I'm saying is, though, we're at a place of unknown. Yeah, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, and I don't want to be the guy that's saying, no, we're going to suck. We're not. What I'm saying is, though, this is the area of concern. Like the offensive line, I've been seeing all the fans, like on Twitter, everywhere, I've been seeing everybody, oh my God, we're not going to be good if this offensive line, we're going to be fine on offense. Like there might be some hiccups. There might be some things that don't look as smooth early on, and that might happen, but we're going to end up fine on offense. I am concerned about that cornerback position.
Well, we're going to be fine on offense because of Joshua freaking Allen. But yes, cornerback, the CB position, if Trey is not healthy, yes, if we're starting Dane Jackson and Kyer Elam, the pressure is that much more on that revamped front 7, front 4, front 6, front 4, basically, to take over football games. And I think that from what we've been watching, getting back to the energy comment, I think we might get it. I think this defense is going to be better than they were last year. Better than number 1 in a bunch of categories. Here, this was fun. So Josh Reed was on, I think, the Extra Point show with Sal Capaccio today. Did you listen to it, by the way?
I haven't. I've been working all day.
Perfect. That's good. There are 7 number 1 draft picks on this defense. 7. 6 of them are starters. 1 is a backup. Can you name them? And in comment section as well. So jump, like if you think you got them, and some people probably listen today, but yeah, can you name
Number one draft
seven?
picks?
There's 7 first round. Sorry. There's 7 first round draft picks. My bad. Yeah, 7 first round draft picks on this football team.
So obviously Josh
Defense.
Allen and Von Miller.
No, defense,
just
defense,
defense.
Just defense.
Okay. So I'm gonna go Von Miller.
Yep.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Yep.
No, he wasn't first. Tim Settle wasn't the first.
Well, you're missing the obvious ones still that are current.
Right. Well, no, I'm trying to go around. Like I'm just trying to pick.
You're going through the positions.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm missing somebody easy right off the top.
You are.
Well, are we talking injuries and stuff?
Yeah, everybody. There's 6 first round draft picks that are going to start that are part of the starting 11. And then there's one that's a backup that are first round draft picks.
So we got Von, we got Tremaine, we got Trey White, we got Groot, we got there's 6 first rounders.
Yep.
Elam, obviously.
Yep. Elam, the new one.
I'm missing one. Then that was 5.
Yep, you're missing one.
Who the heck am I missing?
Ed Oliver. And then 7, the rotational guy is Shaq Lawson.
Shaq Lawson was a first round draft pick.
Shaq Lawson was a first round draft pick out of Clemson, drafted by your favorite, Sexy Rexy.
That's embarrassing, man.
But what's amazing is that there are freaking 7 first round draft picks on this defense.
The part that amazes me, and I know like as a fan base, we don't like we look at Ed Oliver and he doesn't fly under the radar, but around the league like that though, like Ed Oliver flies under the radar in a way. Like he's not like, you know how people talk about like obviously Aaron Donald. He's not Aaron Donald, so they don't talk about him that way. Right. But I mean, but they don't talk about him, you know. And I'm telling you, Ed Oliver played, man. He's a baller.
This might be the year they talk about him. This might be the year they talk about him. All right, let's move on to our last topic of the show. This is the last call on this topic. And I'm interested to know your thoughts because I was there on Saturday and it's been played out between national media, Dolphins fans, Kyle Brandt, everybody's talked about it. Clearly Bills content creators and Bills fans have talked about it as well. Josh Allen starts a fight in camp on Saturday. He's a bully. That's hysterical. So effectively I was there. Josh Allen drops back to pass. It's the last play of the 2-minute drill before the end of the practice session. And he decides to pull it down and he runs for the end zone. And Jordan Phillips is just doing his job. It's not that big of a deal. He didn't hit him. It wasn't a cheap shot, but there's an aspect to, and I've got some side conversation. You didn't hear my show on Sunday, which is good because I've got some other information to provide to the conversation, color, context, if you will. Jordan Phillips just kind of, but you're not supposed to touch the guy in the red jersey. And Josh Allen takes a little bit of, not offense, but Josh Allen is like, hey. And interestingly enough, Sal Capaccio on the Pat McAfee show, which, by the way, if none of you have watched that interview today, you need to go back and see it. Josh is about the only guy in the offense that can look eye to eye to Jordan Phillips. So he pushes back. And then those two begin to tussle. And then they're pulled out and the pile is consumed, right? And then after that comes Gabe Davis flying over the top. Stephon Diggs flying over the top, like all the things that you don't want to see happen. Like Stephon Diggs should be running in the opposite direction, right? Not that he's a wuss, not that he's afraid to fight, but the last guy you want to see jumping on the pile is number 14
quarterback or your starting receiver. Those are the two that you do that.
Number 14. Could 14 please not jump on the freaking pile? So where are you on this idea? So do we love it? Do we hate it? Where are you at?
I love it. It's football. It's football. Josh Allen is a football player, and he's like really a football player. He has the personality, so you might get fooled sometimes. It might be like, oh, this guy's a superstar, so he's built for TV. He is, but he's built for that football field, and he's a doggone stud. Okay, so you might want to worry about the defense. Okay, let's worry about Jordan Phillips first. Is Jordan Phillips okay? That's the question. He fighting Josh. Is he okay? Is Jordan okay? Who else got hit?
Right.
Okay, because is Tremaine okay? Did he catch her hand? Did he catch the paws? What happened, man? Because I'm telling you, Josh is a beast. Stay out of Josh's face. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. It's I don't hate it. I don't know that I love it, but I definitely don't hate it. I think there's they weren't even in pads, right? So there weren't any punches thrown. Josh pushed Jordan in his face a little bit.
Broke his jaw.
Yeah, right. Immediately broke. As soon as he touched him, he broke. He touched his face mask, and Jordan Phillips' jaw broke. Right. It's which, by the way, side note, when you watch Case Keenum and Matt Barkley throw the football versus the way that Josh Allen's passes come out of his hand, oh my God, it's what is happening right now. When Josh Allen throws the football, you're like, oh, okay.
I would feel like the receivers would be annoyed a little bit. Like, it's like you get used to the rhythm of Josh, and then all of a sudden you switch to Matt Barkley or you switch to Case Keenum, and it's just like, wait.
I will be on after 3 days of practice. Tuesday, I'm standing in the stands and I'm watching, and it's hard because I love Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley's a good dude. Like, Josh Allen is great friends with him. They want him on this team. I want him on this team. I felt bad for the receivers that Matt Barkley had to throw to. It was awful. It just wasn't great. Anyways, sorry, I totally sidetracked us. As far as the fight,
I want him as a coach.
Right.
And to me, that's not a slight. Like, and I don't know why people take that wrong. Like, I think Matt Barkley, he had a good career for for how his career went. He had a good career, and I think he's a brilliant football mind. I think he gives Josh Allen comfort. I think Josh Allen finds some type of like a level of he trusts him, and he's able to go to him and confide in him, and those things that your quarterback needs, he has in Matt Barkley. So make him a coach, make him an assistant coach like an assistant QB coach or something. Like, make up a position for him. But there's no need. If knock on any type of wood, if Josh ever got injured, I don't want to see Matt Barkley throwing to Stephon Diggs against the New York Jets. I don't want to see it.
Right. For some reason, I thought that the first day of pads was Monday, but apparently it was Saturday. And Chris Jenke is correcting me. Thank you, Mr. Encyclopedia. That's why we love you being a part of our show. So anyways, getting back to the fight. So context, color, if you will. So I talked to a player on Sunday, and he basically told me that there was really nothing. And this was so Sunday morning after Saturday was when, like, the world was churning with, the bickering Bills, and the Bills are fighting in camp, and Josh Allen is starting fights with the defensive line, and it's just bad news. So I literally just was like, dude, have you seen like what's going on Twitter right now? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's just a bunch of trash. He's like, Josh literally, he goes, when Gabe and Stephon jumped on the pile, it was just fun at that point in time. And he said that Josh was literally just trying to fire up the offense, because on Saturday they had a horrible practice. They were awful on Saturday. Yeah. And there's an aspect of it's almost a hockey thing. There's something like in hockey, there's players that fight. There's guys that are kind of like walk around like they're tough guys. And then there's the dudes that have all the talent that the other dudes all protect.
Right.
And in hockey, when the dude that has all the talent that the other guys usually protect is out there throwing punches, it's because he's sending a message to everybody else that this isn't my job. And if I'm pissed off, you should be pissed off too. And that was kind of the feeling that I got from the whole thing, that Josh was sending a message to the offense that what we did today probably wasn't acceptable. Like, you guys need to fight more.
That could be absolutely. The way I take it, so I'll take it the way you're saying it, but I'll also take it from a standpoint of, at this point, I trust Josh. So, like, I don't think Josh is ever going to do anything in any situation, whether we practice or a real game, that's going to put us in a situation to just outright not be winners. So I don't think he would have done something serious in that situation in practice to really cause anybody to really be in a position to get injured. I know jumping in piles, you can get injured by playing. So I know that, but I mean, like, there was nothing real there. And then, even in a game, like, I know the first couple seasons we had some moments where it's like, oh my God, Josh, what are you doing? At this point, there's nothing that anybody can say to me about Josh Allen and I'm gonna be like, yeah, that was dumb. Nothing that you can say to me about Josh Allen literally can do anything on that field, and I got him. Like, I got him. It just is what it is. So
I'm with you.
So yeah.
Like the amount of rope that Josh Allen has with the Mafia right now is pretty incredible, right?
Well, the thing is, though, it's like I think he has the rope because he not just because he's the guy, like he's the likable, lovable guy, but he put the work in, and not just the normal. Yeah, I want to be a leader in the locker room, and I want to win games. You can fit like every year, you can visibly see where he improves.
Oh yeah,
you can visibly see the work that he puts in. You can visibly see when he's angry. You can visibly see when he's in the zone. You can visibly. So it's like he's proving to us every single week. I'm the guy you've been waiting on. Like I am him. So it's like at this point, like now I've had 4 seasons to watch this guy prove to me week after week that he's the one I've been praying for. This is going to sound real bad, but he's the guy I've been praying for. You know what I mean? Pause. He's the one. There's nothing that anybody can come and say to me. And that's why I said years ago, I was on a show with you, and there's not a conversation from a general manager in the league that would let me even think about entertaining a conversation about trading Josh Allen to any team. And I said that before he had his runner-up conversation.
What a weird conversation that was. Looking back at it now, hindsight is always 2020, 2010 in this case. But like the things that were thrown out and the people that were thrown out who I would rather have right now, right? Tyler Lawrence or Trevor Lawrence, rather, who was in college at that point in time. I'd rather have that guy.
I would never let Judge live that down, man. Judge Mathis, I'll never let him live that down.
I wasn't going to say his name.
This dude said he was going to take Trevor Lawrence over Joshua Patrick Allen. So y'all want to go over to Cover One and y'all jump on the Bills, or what's their show name again? The Air Raid. Jump on the Air Raid hour and y'all go tell Judge Mathis to eat his words. He should never, ever, ever have said anything crazy like he would take Trevor Lawrence over Joshua Patrick Allen. And this was even before the dude left Clemson. The dude was like the dude didn't even get drafted yet. We knew where he was going. But the dude didn't even, and then I think one time, Chris, he said Kyler Murray he would take over Josh.
He said Kyler Murray. That's right.
It was like 4 people.
Kyler was a rookie that year, hadn't played it down, or no, I think it was his second year, whatever. But regardless,
that was the second year. And actually, also speaking of, Mathis owes us all a tattoo on his ass cheek of Josh Allen jumping over his ass crack because he lost the bet. He said if Josh Allen threw, I think it was like if he had 35 touchdowns and something, he would, or
40. It was 40.
It was 40 touchdowns and 4,000 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
well, 40. Guess what? He did it. Get the tat on that ass, bro. I need to see that thing happen. Pause. I don't want to see ass, but I need to know that tattoo happened, man. Judge been dodging us for years. He been dodging us, Joe.
Yeah, we got to end the show.
Let's do it. Real quick, before we end the show, I'm gonna make a real quick announcement. So Friday night of not the season opener, but the home opener. That is the weekend of the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, all that weekend there. Friday night, we are going to have karaoke. It is going down, the official Bills Mafia karaoke party. Tickets are on sale. Please go to my Twitter and check it out. Every single dime that we make that night is going towards the church that my Aunt Pearl went to. That's We're going to have a scholarship in her name donated to the church. And then secondly, that next night, Saturday night, Joe is doing the damn thing on the 17th. He's going to be hosting a megapod at Resurgence. We're
going to back up to the night before. So as much as you and I are going to be like the twins that are going to be hanging out at both of these, I don't do karaoke, but I'm probably going to sing at the karaoke night. So, and
I mean, you had to. Like, I wasn't gonna
I have never in my life sang karaoke, but I'm for the Mafia. I'm gonna do. I'm putting a list together already of potential songs to sing. So yeah.
Last time I did a thong song. I did a thong song.
I was there. Dean Dawkins event. I was there.
I did. I did the thong song. Y'all missed it. Y'all better be there this year. I'm gonna do something fun. There's gonna be a prize for the best performance. So the best song.
You might as well just give that to me now. Give that to me now.
I got you. Let's do it.
Give it to me now.
I'm gonna be giving away a signed Stevie Johnson jersey. Be giving away a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be fun. So then the next night, Saturday, Joe's gonna be hosting the Megapod. Sterling is gonna be there. I believe. I said last night, but now I think that John Fina said he's waiting on some confirmation on some things. But John Fina is tentatively supposed to be there. Coach Schroeder is going to be there. We got an all-star cast that's going to be there. Tia Stale is going to be there. I said Sterling already, right?
Yep.
Sterling's going to be. I'm going to be there. We're going to have fun. Come and kick it with us at Resurgence at 7 p.m. Saturday night, 55 Chicago Street, downtown Buffalo, New York. And at 8 o'clock is when the show starts. So if you're not able to make it, then jump on here like you are now on YouTube or on Twitter, on Facebook, or wherever you're watching this. And then you'll be able to watch Joe and everybody else at 8 o'clock. And we're going to have a good show, and we're going to have a good time. Get drunk. Not really drunk. Tips.
And unfortunately, there's nothing going on Sunday night. So we gotta come up with something for Sunday. Whether it's
Sunday
all
football,
just watching football, all of us going to one place and watching football all freaking day long.
man,
right?
I can't do it. Yeah, how do y'all like to? Y'all hang a lot. Like, so it's gonna be Friday, Saturday, all day Sunday is football, and then Monday night or Monday afternoon to Monday night midnight, y'all gonna be partying and y'all that don't bother you. Y'all not tired on Sunday at all?
Hang on.
You got to work.
Hang on. Anything you want.
It's still loud.
Anything you need. There you go.
It was still loud. This mic is so doggone good. I love this mic.
So there you go.
Okay, but yeah, those are the
if anybody was like sitting in the background going, there ain't no way Joe Miller ever sang that song. You just heard it. So I just proved it to the world that is me singing that song.
Hey, y'all can hear Joe sing pretty much like 3 Sundays out of the month. Shout out to the Life Church of Buffalo in West Seneca.
True story.
Why don't you ever plug your church, man? Y'all got a nice facility. The building's amazing.
I do on Twitter, so I'll put it out there on Twitter if anybody's looking for church on a Sunday morning. But I don't do it on the shows a whole lot. But dude, we are long in the tooth. It's like a quarter after.
Hey, let's get a go Bills from everybody in the comments. We love y'all. Joe, send us on home, man. Send us out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Rumblings Vodcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. It has been so awesome to have you. For myself, Joe Miller, and my co-host, Jay Spence, the King. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. This is step one, day one of a 2022 hopeful championship season from the Buffalo Bills. For myself, for Jay Spence, the King, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.